Alright, so today we got some pretty interesting reveals on the whole gameplay embargo that's been lifted across some of the larger publications that do cover gaming. GameSpot, Eurogamer, all sorts of stuff across the board. And in that, we got a nice little reveal here, right? We got Tretch Craventail. We finally see in the flesh that Tretch is indeed coming to Total War Warhammer 2. This probably means that we'll actually see the Shadow Warriors as well that we talked about in our last kind of announcement / speculation video. You can also see the other 4 lords here. They are covered in a lot of detail, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, I did not watch the gameplay video. I'm a pretty big fan of, oh hey, a new DLC came out, I want to experience it firsthand for the first time. I don't really want to watch through a bunch of the content and then kind of spoil it for myself. I want to do it alongside you guys, alongside the videos I release or the streams that I do. If I get early access, that'd be great, and we can all do it together as one big happy family. Otherwise, though, I really don't want to ruin that experience. You know, playing a game for the first time is probably one of the best experiences when it comes to gaming. So I don't really want to ruin that and water it down by kind of having 15 preconceived notions of how I want to start my first turn. So we see Tretch here. He's got the same race attributes as the other 3 lords, or other 2 lords, Skaven Underworld, Food, Skaven Corruption. But we do see he starts off with some Storm Vermin, a Doom Wheel, and some Death Runners. That's pretty rad right off the bat there. Let's switch over to this other picture. Whenever I get this to work properly. There we go. Let me zoom in here for you too. So here are his faction effects, right? So he's got Suitable Climate Frozen. Now that is not standard edition for the other Skaven races. And keep in mind that the Skaven races only start in the Southlands or they start in Lustria. So that's the only 2 options we have. So they're not going to really get to the climate of Frozen unless you march all the way north to Naggaroth, which, and take this with a grain of salt, might be where he starts. I've heard that he's going to be starting east of Naggaroth from some sources, and those that's like in the ambiguous way that people know about like weird random sources. That's all I've got for you, because that's all I really know about. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, sounds totally credible, guy. But unpleasant climate are jungles. Typically, jungles are a suitable climate for Skaven here. So you do have a little bit of a role reversal in that you're playing as Tretch here, that it is a little bit different than the typical kind of Skaven clan. On top of that, you have a really cool, really Skaven-y ability right at the start here, right? Public order +4 whenever a diplomatic treaty is broken. That is so Skaven-y in so many ways. It's awesome. Like, I'm so excited to see how Tretch plays out, because actually, as we've played along in our stream together, I'm really enjoying playing Lord Skrolk in my campaign stream of the Skaven. I didn't think I'd enjoy Skaven. I'm like, ugh, this is just not going to be as fun. But I'll be totally honest, having played Dark Elves, High Elves, Skaven, and Lizardmen now, I think that the Skaven rank almost higher than the High Elves. The High Elf starting area of Tyrion is kind of a little flat for me. And if I start all the way over where Teclis is, it's just like a completely opposite feel. Like, I would rather just have, what's it called, Uthwan almost relatively under my control and just raid into Naggaroth or do whatever. Like, I spend the first 100 or 250 turns trying to take over all of Ulthuan, so that's a pain in my ass. But his 2 abilities for his army, +12 during ambushes to melee attack and +12 to melee attack after retreating when attacked. So again, super Skaven-y. So let's say, you know, you set up an ambush, boom, bam, there you go. You're going to get that 12 melee attack. But let's say you engage someone or I'm sorry, they engage you on your turn, and you think you've got the upper hand, but you really want to be sure of it. You can retreat, they'll pursue, then you can use the melee attack +12 after retreating when attacked. So it really is a great Skaven-y way to showcase that ability to run and then turn on your enemy. And it's the same way we've got with the actual Skaven army itself, you know, right? So when you actually fight them, they break and they actually come back very fast. They rally quickly, and when they are broken, they run very fast too, right? So that's all part of the grand Skaven scheme of cowardice kind of veiled as courage, but not really courage at all. It's just entirely cowardice. That's neither here nor there. Lord effects, attribute, Vanguard deploy all units in army. So that's cool too here. So we're going to have a Skaven army where we can Vanguard deploy, you know, so we're going to really be able to get up in that grill right from the start of the match. And what's cool here about Tretch is we've talked about Tretch's lore, and we've talked about what he might be looking like as an actual lord in the game, right? We've said for sure that he's really definitely like a discount Queek. He's not Queek head taker, but he's almost there, even from tabletop perspective. And if we take a look at how this is playing out, we've got Queek head taker in the Southlands, we've got Lord Skrolk in Lustria, and then we have got Tretch here, who let's say the rumors are true, and he starts in Nagaroth, or around Nagaroth, or the east of Nagaroth. Maybe Thanquol will start in the Old World, or whatever lord we get, like Iked Claw. Maybe he'll start actually in Skaven Blight, since that's where Clan Scryer is. So there's a lot of options here for them to kind of have it so that the Skavens are in all four, the Skaven are in all four corners of the map. And I mean, that kind of helps make this make a little more sense. But to be totally honest, Tretch Craventail in the lore hangs out in the Darklands. He's all the way over there with Clan Rictus. So it's interesting that they're putting him over here in Nagaroth, if they in fact do that. I've also heard that there's going to be an extended portion of east of the map, like a small another little province or something, that they're going to add to the game with the Tomb Kings. And that portion will also include like Lamia and Liberis and all the other goodies that are involved in the Eastern Empire of Nehekara. So I guess we'll really see, you know, we're on the 8th right now, so it's only a handful of days. Well, it's a little bit more than a handful, but, you know, ipso facto, about what, 15 more days until we get the full launch of the Rise of the Tomb Kings. I know I'm torqued just talking about it. We'll be doing hopefully a whole campaign roll of that, but hopefully with this confirmation of Tretch, we actually see these in-game shots. We'll hopefully get some confirmation of the Shadow Warriors coming out. And I know that there has been a leak of some Albion units, but I totally think that that leak of the Albion units is entirely fabricated. It's got an entirely different font face and everything. Like it's Times New Roman versus the other ones are Arial. So take the whole Albion leak with a grain of salt. I think it's definitely a hoax of hoaxes. But at least now we can see that Tretch indeed is covered. So I can go through all the stuff that was leaked and talked about as well with the Tomb Kings that we talked about, because I've seen all the stuff where it talks about each and every Legendary Lord's faction effects and their Lord effects. I didn't want to go into that too much here today. As I was saying, I want to save it for when we all get to play together. But again, I think this is a really great way to tease Tretch without really going into him, because this is very reminiscent of at least his special rules, which take advantage a lot of the flanking mechanics, right? So in tabletop, if you flank a unit that you're charging and you're in a unit of Storm Vermin, then they get a bonus. So it's cool here to see that he gets a starting unit of Storm Vermin. That's very lore friendly. And after retreating when attacked, so you could kind of maybe look at that as a flank. Ambushing is definitely flanking an army, because you saw on both sides of them, flanking them. So this is, I guess, Total War Warhammer Creative Assembly's interpretation of that rule, which allows you to really kind of get some flanking action going on there. And again, it's going to be interesting too to see, as a Skaven, it's always fun to ally and confederate with other Skaven. So as you push out of Nagaroth, how's that going to work? I mean, a lot of Nagaroth is a lot of frozen landscape. So if you push further and further south, you're just going to start matching up against tons and tons of unpleasant climate. So that'll be interesting too. And with the fact that we're having diplomatic treaty includes public order at the same time, I'm curious to see if we'll get some sort of mechanic that'll also aid in public treaty just getting crapped on. Or like, how does that diplomatic treaty break? Do you have to break it personally, or is it any of your discovered factions and their treaties breaking? Because that'd be great to just nonstop make alliances and then basically pick and choose who you want to fight by going through your alliance list and going, he's low in power right now, I'll go for that one. So really stoked on this. At the end of this video, I'm going to definitely link to the videos that talk about Tretch's entire lore and all his abilities from tabletop. So those of you guys that are really looking forward can jump into that. But other than that, this pretty much covers all the Tretch Craventail leaks here. If there's anything else you'd like to go over, or any of the stuff that you guys got from the video that you really enjoyed, please feel free to comment in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as they say in the grander YouTube world. I just found out how important liking is, and I'm kind of upset that it's so important because I don't want it to be that important, but still. Liking any YouTuber's video is a great way to pretty much like push them to the front of the line as far as like, hey, this is new and upcoming. But thanks for watching here today, guys. Have a good one and take care.